morning, Jayhawks, and welcome back to Good Morning KU Sports. I'm your host, Lexi, and today officially marks our final episode of the spring 2026 semester. Stop day is 1 week from today, which means summer break is now only 2 weeks away. While some of us are excited for a relaxing summer, a few of us have some exciting and busy plans. Sophia, Emil, and myself are actually traveling overseas to Scotland for a study abroad program. I know I can speak on behalf of all of us when I say we are so excited to get out of the country for a month. While we will be in student mode during this trip, it'll still be really exciting to learn in a new environment. So with that, let's get into the sports lineup for today. To kick us off, Emil will have our weekly Jayhawk sports report to let us know everything going on with KU athletics, including some exciting news involving new recruits for men's basketball. Next, Brandon will be here with the latest on the NBA playoffs. After the break, Sophia will break down the latest in baseball and tell us what's been going on in the Major League. After that, Summer will update us on all things tennis, specifically what's been going on at the Madrid Open in Spain. Next, Brandon will be back with some information on the Stanley Cup playoffs and everything happening in the NHL postseason. Finally, Josie will wrap it all up with weather and a visit from a very special guest. You won't want to miss it, so be sure to stay tuned. With that, let's head over to Emil with our Jayhawk sports report.
Thanks, Lexi. The baseball team's great play has been rewarded as the Jayhawks moved up 5 spots to number 11 in the national rankings after last weekend's sweep of K-State. After Tuesday night's victory over Wichita State, the Jayhawks are now 34-11 overall and lead the Big 12 by 3 games at 15-2. Their next conference series is this weekend with Arizona. First pitch is tonight at 6 p.m., with the other pitches being at 2 p.m. on Saturday and at noon on Sunday. The softball team is 33-16 overall and a 12-5 Big 12 record. They're currently 3rd in the Big 12. They're going to travel to Stillwater this weekend to close out the regular season against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is ahead of them in the standings, but with a series win, they could potentially leap them. No KU relays this year, but the Jayhawks will still host one more meet this weekend at Rock Chalk Park. The pole vaulters will be among the featured athletes at Rock Chalk Classic, which begins at 1 p.m. today and continues through 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. Last weekend, Anthony Meacham set a new outdoor school record at 5 meters, .80, which is just over 19 feet. Then Mason Minor Hagen won her 5th straight competition, clearing 4.22 meters, which is just over 13 feet and 10 inches. The rowing team placed 10th at the Lake Wheeler Invitational in North Carolina last weekend. This was their best chance for the Jayhawks to see how they stack up against top 25 competition, with the Big 12 Championship starting on May 17th in Sarasota, Florida, and the Nationals starting on May 29th and going through May 30th in Gainesville, Georgia. The men's golf team wrapped up the Big 12 Conference Championship with a 5th place finish at Prairie Dunes Country Club at Hutchinson, Kansas. And the women's Big 12 tourney was last weekend in Dallas, where the Jayhawks finished 9th, but they found out yesterday that they will be playing in the NCAA Regionals. The tennis team was selected on Monday for the NCAA Championships. The Jayhawks will play Oklahoma, where they're going to travel to Norman and play the 6-seeded Sooners on Saturday. The selection marks the 15th time Kansas has qualified for the Nationals. And finally, the Kansas basketball team saw some key players officially sign with the team this week. 2026 number 1 overall recruit Tyron Stokes officially committed to the Jayhawks on Tuesday, with the signing being announced officially on Wednesday. And outside of Stokes, we saw center prospect Grant Mordini commit to the Jayhawks late yesterday, potentially cementing that 2026 recruiting class that has 5 stars, including Tyron Stokes and Tay Kinney, and multiple 4 stars, including Trent Perry, Luke Barnett, and Davion Atkins. A class good enough to be ranked 2nd on 24/7 Sports, just behind Coach Cal at Arkansas. I'm excited to see what Bill Self and company have in store for what potentially could be Self's final season. That's it for sports today. Up next is going to be Brandon with some updates in the NBA playoffs.
Thank you, Emil. 50% of the conference semifinals teams are set in the NBA playoffs, so let's break down what everything looks like. The Oklahoma City Thunder swept the Phoenix Suns and were the first team to advance to the second round. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has scored 25, 37, 42, and 31 in the 4 games, averaging nearly 34 points a game, as well as dishing out 8 assists a night. The San Antonio Spurs had a slight bump in their 4-1 series win over Portland after Victor Wembanyama had a hard fall early in Game 2, resulting in a concussion that forced him to miss Game 3. San Antonio won the final 3 games of that series to advance to the second round. The New York Knicks found themselves in a 2-1 deficit against the Atlanta Hawks through the first 3 games. They were able to win the Nets 3, including a 51-point win on the road in Game 6 to take the series 4-2. Jalen Brunson has scored 26 or more in 4 of the 6 games, as well as having 7 or more assists in 4 of the 6. A shorthanded Minnesota Timberwolves squad ended the Denver Nuggets season on Thursday, despite not having Anthony Edwards, Dante DiVincenzo, or Ayo Dosunmu. The Wolves became the first team in NBA history to win a playoff game while missing 3 double-digit playoff scorers. Game 6 was won on the back of Jaden McDaniels, who had a 32-point, 10-rebound double-double. After the first 2 games of the series, McDaniels called out the Denver defense, saying that they can't guard. He backed up his talk, averaging nearly 20 points a game in the final 4 matches. One of the better rivalries in basketball also gave us some heated moments, like this one here. At the end of Game 4, McDaniels scored with 1.3 seconds remaining after the game was pretty much over. Denver center Nikola Jokic was not too fond of it and charged towards McDaniels. Dribbling out the clock in a moment like that is one of the unwritten rules of basketball that the majority of players follow, so I can understand the frustration for Jokic. As for the series that are not complete, in a series of missing star players, the Los Angeles Lakers currently hold a 3-2 lead over the Houston Rockets after being up 3-0. The Lakers have been without scoring leader Luka Doncic for all 5 games and were without their second leading scorer Austin Reeves for the first 4. The Rockets, on the other hand, have only had Kevin Durant for 1 matchup in which they lost, and Durant is also expected to miss Game 6 on Friday. Only 1 win separates the Orlando Magic from becoming the 7th, 8th seed to knock off a 1 seed, as they hold a 3-2 lead over the Detroit Pistons. The majority of the Pistons' offenses came from Cade Cunningham, who is averaging almost 33 points a game while coming off a collapsed run from the end of the regular season. Orlando has seen it a completely different way, though, with 5 players averaging double-digit scoring in the series. A battle between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Toronto Raptors could be put to an end with the Cavs win on Friday, or require a Game 7 if the Raptors come out on top. Cleveland won the opening 2 games of the series, then dropped 2 in a row to Toronto, then got back on track winning Game 5. R.J. Barrett and Scotty Barnes are currently leading the Raptors in scoring, both averaging 24 points a night, and Donovan Mitchell is averaging 23 points per game to lead the Cavs. Last but not least, the best series of the opening round has surprisingly been the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. After a 32-point loss in the series opener, many counted the Sixers out. They found themselves down 3-1, but after winning the last 2 games, Philadelphia became the 37th team to force a Game 7 after trailing 3-1. So, as it stands, the only conference semifinals matchup that is set is the Timberwolves against the Spurs. Minnesota is hoping that they will get Anthony Edwards back from a hyperextended knee. However, they will be without DiVincenzo for the remainder of the playoffs as he tore his Achilles. OKC awaits the winner of the Lakers-Rockets series, and the Knicks will face the winner of Game 7 matchup between Boston and Philadelphia. The winners of Detroit-Orlando and Cleveland-Toronto will face off in the second round to complete all the conference semifinals matchups. The second round of the NBA playoffs will begin May 3rd and span as long as May 16th, with the finals beginning on June 3rd. That's all I have for you guys today. Stay tuned through this short break.
What you doing?
Not much, just watching some sports.
You make any bets today?
Yeah, I threw $5 on it earlier just for some fun.
But that one didn't end up happening, so I'm going to try to put $20 to try to win my money back.
That one stays in the zone, and Osorio gets a big piece of it. Deep to left center. Get out of here, ball.
KU baseball versus West Virginia, May 8th to 10th.
Be there. Rock chalk.
Welcome back, Jayhawks. Now it's time for an MLB update as we close out the first month of the 2026 season. With 1 month in the books, we're already seeing surprising contenders, early shakeups, and teams starting to separate themselves. We begin in Philadelphia, where yesterday the Phillies delivered one of the most memorable days of their young season with a doubleheader sweep over the Giants. Philadelphia pulled off not one, but 2 walk-off wins. It marks the first time the Phillies have recorded 2 walk-off victories in the same day since 1998. And it's a major early boost for a team that's currently the second worst in the league and trying to steady itself after a difficult start to the season and recent managerial change after firing longtime manager Rob Thompson. Elsewhere, the 1-month checkpoint gives us a clearer picture on where things stand, but also how unpredictable the season already is. In the American League, the Yankees are once again near the top of the standings, and their offense is one of the most dangerous in baseball, leading the league in home runs, while their pitching staff has held strong despite injuries to key starters. They currently sit in position for first-round bye if the playoffs were to begin today. Right behind them, one of the biggest early surprises has been the A's. After a slow start to the season, Oakland has caught fire, winning the majority of their recent games and climbing to the top of a wide-open AL West. In the AL Central, Cleveland continues to do what they're good at, and that is win games quietly but consistently. The Guardians are once again leading their division and will host a wild-card series if the season ended today, continuing their reputation of stability. The Rays and Seattle Mariners currently hold wild-card positions, setting up what would be an intense postseason matchup between 2 teams built on pitching depth and balanced lineups. Both teams are looking to prove they belong in the upper tier of the American League. And from the Mariners, I hope to see my favorite player, Brian Wu, continue to pitch well. Over in the National League, the Braves have popped out with the best record in baseball. After missing the postseason last year, Atlanta has responded by showing the same power and consistency that made them one of the league's most feared teams in recent seasons. Just behind them, the Dodgers remained right on track in their pursuit of something no National League team has ever done with a three-peat in the World Series. Even early in the year, they look like a champion contender. The current NL wildcard picture features a mix of familiar contenders and rising teams. The Chicago Cubs, my favorite, the San Diego Padres, the Reds, and the Cardinals would all be in the postseason field if the season were to end today, and that would end up in a Cubs-Padres wildcard rematch, adding another chapter to a growing rivalry. But not every contender is where they expected to be. The Phillies, Red Sox, Brewers, and Mets are all currently on the outside looking in. For some of these teams, the early struggles have led to major changes, especially in Boston and Philadelphia, where managerial moves have made their impact. Still, with more than 130 games left in the season, none of these teams are out of contention just yet. We're also seeing a wave of standout individual performances across the league, from breakout rookies making immediate impacts to established stars returning to MVP form. The season is already raising big questions. Can early surprises like Oakland and Cincinnati hold on? Can struggling powerhouses like the Phillies and Mets climb back into contention? And can anyone slow down the Braves and Dodgers at the top of the National League? For now, baseball moves into May with momentum building, pressure rising, and the standings starting to take shape, but still very much unsettled. That's it for your MLB update as we close out April. Here's Summer with a rundown of the 2026 Madrid Open.
Thank you, Sophia. I'm Summer, and today we are here to give you some big moments, predictions, and updates from this year's Madrid Open. But first off, let's talk some background. The Madrid Open is a prestigious tennis tournament that hosts the top men's and women's professional tennis players. Since 2009, the tournament has been played on the iconic red clay courts in Caja Mexica in Madrid. The Madrid Open is one of the many big clay tournaments that come before the French Open this summer. The Madrid Open has been all over the place. We've seen many top seeds eliminated in early rounds and breakthrough performances from some of the younger players. On the men's side of the round, with no surprise, we saw some top players like Jannik Sinner from Italy and Alexander Zverev from Germany advance easily, while top 10 seeded players like Medvedev and Ruud were knocked out in round 2. However, these trends are very common in the Madrid Open as the clay can lead to unpredictable bounces and some playing. On the women's side, in the first round, we saw United States represent Coco Gauff advancing strongly with some unexpected early exits. The tournament began to shape out to a pretty open draw. In the second women's rounds, we saw Mira Andreeva from Russia advancing confidently, while Coco Gauff started to show some signs of an illness that was reported numerous times during the tournament. In the third round, we started to see some big names face off, and the competition started to get a little bit more intense. On the men's side, Arthur Fils had a breakout win when he defeated Jerry Lehecka 6-3 and 6-4. Mira Andreeva continued to play strong throughout the third round, while Coco Gauff was more visibly affected by the illness. Then we get to the round of 16, which means the players are higher quality and the matches get a lot closer. In this round, the men's side, no surprise, Sinner was continuing to put the competition to sleep, all while only taking it into one set into tiebreaker. Fils continued his victory run and defeated Argentinian player Thomas Martin Echeverry 6-3, 6-4. Throughout the quarterfinals, big names like Sinner, Zverev, Andreeva, and Gauff and Fils stayed dominant in their rounds. Mira Andreeva also moved into the semifinal territory after a nail-biting match with Haley Baptiste. Here's why that's so important. This is Andreeva's third WTA 1000 at only 19 years old. Andreeva will play the winner of Potapova and Kosiuk on Saturday, so keep an eye out on ESPN for those updates. The men's side is still in semifinal stage, with Sinner being the fans' clear favorite. It's projected that Sinner will face off Zverev in the men's final on Sunday, but as we know, the sport is very predictable. Anything could happen. Make sure to pay attention to tennis this summer. We have the French Open, Wimbledon, and the U.S. Open coming up, and if they're anything like previous years, they'll come with huge upsets and major wins. That's all I have for you today. Here's Brandon with some updates from the NHL playoffs.
Thanks, Summer. We are nearly through the first round of the NHL playoffs, and a lot has happened so far, with still a lot to come. Starting with some of the notable things that have happened, the Buffalo Sabres scored 4 goals in the third period of Game 1 against the Boston Bruins to get their first playoff win in 15 years. Buffalo currently leads that series 3-2 and is 1 game away from winning its first playoff series since 2007. For Edmonton, Leon Draisaitl returned to the ice after missing 14 games to end out the regular season. The Star Center earned 2 points in his first game back, pushing the Oilers to a 4-3 Game 1 win over the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks, though, would rally off the Nets' 3 games to take a 3-1 series lead, and the Oilers won Game 5 to stay alive. After dropping Game 5 4-1, Anaheim won Game 6 5-2 to win the series. It is the first time the Ducks have won a playoff series since 2017. The Colorado Avalanche swept the Los Angeles Kings 4-0 and were the first team to advance to the second round. The Carolina Hurricanes also won their series in 4 games over the Ottawa Senators and are set to face the Philadelphia Flyers in the second round after they eliminated the Pittsburgh Penguins in 6 games. The Minnesota Wild won a playoff series for the first time since 2015 on Thursday night with a 5-2 win over the Dallas Stars. As for the remaining series, the Montreal Canadiens currently lead the Tampa Bay Lightning 3-2, and the Las Vegas Golden Knights hold a 3-2 series lead over the Utah Mammoth. The Avalanche are now set to play the Wild, and the Anaheim Ducks await the winner of the Las Vegas-Utah series to see who they will play to round out the second round of the Western Conference semifinals. As I mentioned earlier, the Hurricanes will play the Flyers, and the winners between Buffalo and Boston and Tampa Bay and Montreal will face off in the second round of the Eastern Conference. Colorado is the current favorite to lift the Stanley Cup at plus 230 odds, and Carolina follows at plus 270. Las Vegas is at plus 900, Minnesota is at plus 950, and Montreal is at plus 1200 to round out the top 5. The final round of the NHL playoffs is scheduled for mid-June. There is no exact date, as it will take place shortly after the conclusion of the conference finals. The last possible game of the finals would be on June 21st if every series ends up going to 7 games. After this short break, we're going to hear from Josie on this weekend's weather, so don't go anywhere.
National champions deserve a clean campus. Don't wait for other Jayhawks to pick up your mess. Keep the University of Kansas clean.
Thanks for staying with us through that break. Now let's take a look at the weather. Currently we have a few showers passing through central Kansas, but it looks like most of that's going to miss us here in Lawrence. We have a sunny weekend ahead, but much cooler temperatures on Friday and Saturday. But once we get to Sunday, we're going to see some rebounding temperatures on Sunday and on Monday as well. The temperature right now, 55 but sunny. The dew point's at 38, so we're relatively dry. We have a nice calm wind at 5 miles per hour, gusting up to 20, so it's a very mild, calm day outside with lots of sunshine. Here in Emporia, we can see lots of sunshine, and in Topeka as well. lots of sunshine, but cooler temperatures. Temperature right now, 55 in Lawrence and Ottawa, a little bit cooler in Topeka, Leavenworth, and Kansas City, 54 in Topeka and Kansas City, and if we go up north to Leavenworth, it's going to be 53, so slightly cooler. As we go throughout our day, the winds will be shifting from the west to the northwest, around 10 miles per hour. So again, a nice calm day for the wind. Temperatures today only in the middle 60s, 63 at 3 and 5. We're going to see some clouds build in throughout the night tonight, and then we're going to cool back down once our winds come out of the north about 9 miles per hour at 7 o'clock. But tomorrow, again, kind of a similar day. We're going to be nice and cool. The UV is going to be an 8, but our temperatures, again, just in the middle 60s. The wind's going to be northwest 5 to 10 miles per hour, gusting up to 15. We're going to stay cool. And now taking a look at the extended forecast, but we have a special guest here today, and I'd like to introduce my best friend, Big J here. Yeah, Big J, how's it going, man? How's your day going? Good? Yeah. Well, what do you think about this weather? It's great, right? Nice, lots of sunshine. You're doing some sunbathing, maybe tomorrow, yeah, this weekend. Have you been to those baseball games? Yeah, there's a baseball game tonight, isn't there? Hey, yeah, and they've been doing amazing. Yeah, and the weather, man, it's perfect for baseball season, I'll tell you what. Yeah. All right, well, if you take a look behind you, Big J, we can see on Sunday, yeah, Sunday, 79 degrees, right? And we get a little bit of a thunderstorm chance as we have some southerly breezes coming on Sunday. That's going to bring up our dew points, and that's going to set us up nicely for a few rain chances later next week. 79 on Monday with a thunderstorm chance at 84. And look at our lows, Big J. We finally get back into some warmer lows. Recently, we've been in a frost warning in our northeastern counties, but we're finally back into the 50s and upper 40s for the low. But the warmth doesn't stick around for long, Big J. No, it does not. I'm sorry to say it. But look at Wednesday. We're back into the 50s. I know. Isn't that just so sad, Big J? And then, I don't know, Big J, how many finals you got next week? You've been in school a long time, haven't you? Yeah, you got a couple, 6 or 7 finals maybe? Yeah, right. Well, for our finals week, we are looking a little bit warmer, but we're going to stay a little dry here. Move this way for me, Big J. Yeah, come over here. Yeah, we got some warmer weather for finals week, and we got a few rain chances developing as well as we just have some nice moist air, Big J. Well, I would like to thank you for coming in and making the time for us today. And we got some exciting weather coming our way for finals week, don't we? Yeah. All right, that's all I have for you guys for weather. Over on to Lexi.
Thank you, Josie, and thank you so much, Big J, for joining us on our final show. I'm looking forward to these few days of warm weather early next week, and hopefully things can stay clear next Friday for Stop Day. Jayhawks, it's been an amazing semester here on Good Morning KU Sports, and we want to thank all of you for tuning in each week and spending your Friday mornings with us. On behalf of our entire team, have a great weekend, good luck on finals, and of course, have an amazing summer break. Thanks for watching, and rock chalk.